Hello, Mark Epstein here, and I am here today to talk to you about a new service or product that we are now rolling out and to provide as part of our web mapping program. Now, many of you know that beginning in the spring of 2013, we began the process of developing and bringing you a service as far as with our web mapping mini course, which has been primarily designed to introduce students to ArcGIS Online and how to make their own web maps, and as the interface evolved, that included also story maps. And we know that for those of you who have worked with this tool as far as ArcGIS Online, that it does provide very much as far as benefits to students for them to learn and to acquire analysis and critical thinking skills. However, as far as there have been some restraints with the technology and the interface that we have encountered over the years that we've been doing this. Primarily, this is as far as has been the time constraints, particularly true at the high school, of trying to embed the web mapping mini course into an existing course already crowded with content with A through G requirements. Another area that has come up is for those of you who have attempted to use ArcGIS Online without the students having accounts, is that the access to the web maps is after just a handful of web maps, is then the interface freezes asking for the students to log in with an account. Now, during the time as far as with the story maps, is that a lot of you have found that useful as far as a way to make student presentations, but the story templates have lacked the interactivity, even though it does not have that limitation of so many maps to look at. So that's been some of the things that we've come across. So right now, what had started occurring in the end of 2015 is that Esri had started adding new story map templates to the ArcGIS Online, which have provide for the type of interactivity that you have been asking for of the web maps in the story map structure. So with this increased interactivity, we now can build story maps that do provide that benefit of analysis and critical thinking skills. So the way that we've responded to these changes in the interface and the technology is we began a process of developing structured exercises with the story maps built for a lesson, rather than having the students create the story maps and need to know all that those technical skills. So the story maps, they're built with certain layers tied to curriculum content with questions that the students answered based upon using the tools of that interactivity in these new story map templates. And we have been field testing a number of these and the concept during the spring semester of 2016, primarily with 7th graders in a social studies class, but we've also been doing some work at the 6th grade level. And we feel that with this new interactivity and these new templates, it's a good way to begin introducing these skill sets in the use of digital geography to now the upper elementary level. So let's take a look at exactly what we've done and let's take a look at how this new interface works and how it can be used as an instructional tool.
So what you see here is a screenshot of a story map that we had created. This is at the 6th grade level for social studies. And this is using one of the new templates as far as being able to be interactive. And I have circled in red there that you would click on there and you would be able to choose between a variety of base maps, which just letting you know there. But the key on this is the ability to turn layers on and off. And where I have circled in green is where you would click that will show the layers. And so let's take a look at some of the things that can be done with this new template. So when I click on the layers icon, I get a drop-down menu that shows all the layers that are contained within the story map. And to the left, those you can check on and off as the students would be instructed. Now I've circled in red there on the side arrows, and I want to show you another feature on using this as being able to encourage analysis and critical thinking. So when you click on that side arrow, it gives you a couple options. It shows there the default, it shows the legend, and then I've got circled in red as far as on the opacity. And let's click on the opacity and see what that does. So when you click on the opacity, then you get another drop down that has a slide bar, and the default is 100% opaque. And you can slide that down to 0. That makes that particular layer completely transparent. And you can vary this with different layers so that students may be able to compare things beyond just clicking on and off, as far as to be able to visualize the relationships between different layers. So this adds to the ability of students to analyze and develop critical thinking skills. So here in this screenshot, the students have been instructed to turn off all the layers with the exception of the territorial expansion. And the students are asked to look at the pattern during the time periods of how the Roman Empire expanded as far as directionality and time period. This slide, the students have been instructed to add the layer of the 10 largest cities within the Roman Empire. And also this is demonstrating, again, a feature in the interactivity of the story maps. Is the symbols that you place, data can be placed, and when you click on the symbols, that data can be seen and set of what type of things. So you can see the pop-up here, and you've got the data which is in the cities layer of the name of the city and the population. So with this question, the students are asked to identify the largest and the smallest cities of the 10 top cities in the Roman Empire. In this slide, the students have turned on the major battles layer, and we've got a pop-up as you click on the major battles. And again, this is a feature of interactivity that is also helpful to direct learning in direction, where you can put a link in your pop-up to another website. And as I have circled in red, it demonstrates that this particular pop-up links to the Wikipedia sites for each of these battles, and the students are asked questions about their perspective on the different battles as they go through and exploring them. So these slides show the interactivity of the story maps with this new template that can be used to develop analysis and critical thinking and further directed learning.
So a pretty neat thing that we've got there, and as you can see, it is very easy to use. So let's talk a little bit of how what we're looking to do to provide service to you and to your districts as far as the implementation of this idea. First thing I want to say is we are not looking to develop a set of story maps and structured exercises as something that's canned. What we really want to do is that we want to be working with you, your fellow teachers, in your school site or your district, to really take a look at what your content is, what you want for story maps, as far as what topics that you want to do. So the idea is we work with you, we create what you need to as far as for what you want to emphasize in your curriculum and to reflect your personalities and the needs of your students. So the way that we figure that we're going to go about this is in working with you is the first thing is going to identify the topics that you want to cover within your curriculum content, and also what kind of layers, what things you want to be on the maps. Now, the key thing about using this tool is to be able to look at different sets of data and do comparisons of impact. And again, as far as what type of things on the layers, and then of course as far as what data you might want to have as attributes for within the layers. Now, one of the things we need to do is to see of what you want, of what may be out there in data layers as far as within the ArcGIS on library, and then what is not out there of what we need to do to build the custom layers in software packages. So once we get that done and build all that with the layers and the data attributes that we want, then we'll bring it in. We will then work with you of deciding what kind of symbols that you want, and again what you think works best for you and for your students. And then, as you saw within the video, the screenshots, is the ability to bring in links to other things in the internet. So again, we'll bring in and talk about what kind of links. Once we have all those things and we import it all into a web map, and you're satisfied with the look of the presentation in the web map, then we will convert it into a story map. And that way that will give the look, and the template that we demonstrated is actually the one that we're finding most useful for most curriculum content. And then we'll work with you with as far as student questions or per se a lesson, and we're looking to create that as far as a Word document so it's easy for you to use. And then, as far as I said, we're looking to do this on a district-wide basis, unlike the web mapping mini course as far as individual teachers. So the idea here is, once we're working with across a district with multiple teachers, is to get those maps up on a gallery. Now, many of you have seen the galleries that we have sent links to you of examples of student work at different schools or classes, and it will be basically the same type of structure. And what we will do is work with you to assist them to sort those maps in a particular order, whether you want them to prioritize by subject in the grade level or grade level and subject. That can all be done and set up, and then all you have to do then is to go to that gallery, pick the map or maps that you want, copy the URL and paste it out and push it out to your students as an email, or if you're using Google Classroom as a message, School Loop message, or Edmodo message, whatever communication system you have. If you don't have those systems for a direct link, we can set up specific tags so that they'll go to the ArcGIS Online page and they'll go in the gallery and they can input the tag. So that's how we're looking to build and create this, so that you have these story maps with the structured lessons as an instructional tool. Now, we all know with the internet and web-based things that we've got change, and ArcGIS Online, as a number you have experienced, is nothing different. So those of you who have worked with me know that it's not we throw anything at you and not there. We will have the ongoing support. Now, again, being the web-based thing, as far as the process we're looking to do, is having an ongoing maintenance contract, which would be to update layers or change things based upon what happens in the interface. Changes in links, where links of websites that might have been chosen go down, and finding replacements. We're also looking at that on that service contract that will include as far as bringing even more maps to work with you. So again, we are looking, as we always have been, is just not here's a package and throw at you. We are there. We, as a network that's made up of teachers, we're there with you and supporting you through a process. As far as the fees on this, we're doing something a little bit different. Instead of basing it like the web mapping mini course on a fee basis of what we have the web mapping course based upon per teacher using it for their students, we're going to base this service on the enrollments at school district as far as the service population. And what we're looking to do is to keep the cost, especially with the ongoing service contracts, to about the same cost on a per student basis as if you were buying a disposable student workbook or duplication of paper maps, or buying sets of pre-printed 8.5, 11 maps that the kids draw on. So we're looking to keep that cost. So going into this platform, we're not adding total cost, but what we're doing is shifting the cost from the paper product to the ongoing service. As far as getting the gallery up, again, we'll do that based upon a per student cost. And again, we're going to keep it very, very reasonable. And in big districts where there's going to be a lot of duplication, our leadership has said, and then we can start discounting. So that's how we're looking to do this. I think you can see by the sample that this is going to be a very valuable instructional tool, and I look very much to be working with you. And so, take this information, talk to other teachers in your district, talk to your administrators of what the benefit would be for your curriculum, and then contact me and we can work out and get something going that incorporates technology for the benefit of your students, as far as closing the gap of the technology literacy and improving their analysis and critical thinking skills. And I'll also add too that students learning how to do this should have a positive impact upon the performance section of the SBAC testing. So I thank you and look forward to hearing from you.